In the sport at half-9, Celtic are on course to cut the gap on league leaders Rangers. They're beating St Mirren 2-1. We'll bring you all the details from tonight's Premiership clash. And Partick Thistle women have a new manager who also plays for the club's men's team. Brian Graham tells the Nine about his unique new challenge. How did this come about?
I don't know.
More of that later, but now it's Wednesday night.
Hello and welcome to the Nine.
Well, sport now. Laura McGhie is here, and I suppose the question is whether Celtic will be able to close the gap at the top of the Premiership. They're at St Mirren tonight,
yes.
Laura, and there's been something of a journey, I think it's fair to say, to get to this game in the first place.
Absolutely. No? Coronavirus, as ever, affecting everything, especially football in this case. So, of course, we remember that this game was supposed to happen a number of days ago, a number of weeks ago. But, of course, the volleyball and Golly saga happened. Of course, he went to Spain and came back and didn't self-isolate, of course, which everyone who's from Scotland has to do.
First Minister wasn't delighted
about
that.
She was not. No, she said it was the yellow card, and next would be the red card, if you remember her saying that all those weeks ago. So, of course, the game was delayed.
And then St Mirren had troubles with coronavirus
their own troubles this week, of course. St Mirren lost all three of their goalkeepers after two of them tested positive for coronavirus. The third was unable to play because he'd been in close proximity with the other two, as with training. They're very close when they're in training. They had to then get a replacement from Hearts. Of course, they're down in the Championship, so they've not returned to playing yet. So they loaned Bobby Zlamal, of all people. He's been back playing for them. So they've been, quite the troubled time. They'll be happy that they've got back into it and back to training and back to competing. But yes, they were in action this evening, and I believe it's just gone full time. So I will take over from here. Thank you very much.
Let's find out what the result is.
Yes. Good evening. Celtic have moved up to second in the Premiership table and cut the gap on leaders Rangers to 3 points after coming from behind to win 2-1 away to St Mirren. So the full-time whistle has literally just blown in Paisley. You can watch highlights of this on BBC One later. St Mirren took the lead in the 3rd minute, and it was a debut goal from striker Lee Irwin, but Celtic were level midway through the first half as defender Shane Duffy scored his 2nd goal in just 2 games. And the defending champions took the lead before half-time from a James Forrest header. No goals in the second half, although Odsonne Edouard missed a penalty for Celtic, so it finished 2-1 to Neil Lennon's side. And we will cross live to St Mirren Park shortly for some analysis on that. All 3 Hamilton players who tested positive for COVID-19 have returned negative results after follow-up tests by the NHS, but will return tomorrow. Now, is Britain's most expensive football export about to return to the Premier League? Well, Gareth Bale is on the verge of sealing a dramatic...
Real Madrid play.
Now, golf's US Open gets underway tomorrow, 3 months later than scheduled, with 3-time champion Tiger Woods, world #1 Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy among the big names on the starters list. The championship is... Now, back to football, and as if aiming for promotion with one team wasn't enough, Partick Thistle striker Brian Graham is now hoping for 2 league titles next season after being announced as the manager of the club's women's side. Graham, who will combine his new role with his existing full-time playing career, says he hopes to guide the women back to the top flight. Thistle player Suzanne Mulvey believes the crossover between the men's and the women's teams is a positive step for the club. The Nine's Amy Irons went to Firhill to find out more.
And everybody feeling welcome.
Right, let's return to St Mirren Park as promised, where Celtic beat St Mirren 2-1 in tonight's Premiership tie. Liam McLeod was calling the match for BBC Radio Scotland. Liam, Celtic had to come from behind. Was it as close as the scoreline suggests? And as for Celtic, that's them up to second. If they win their game in hand, they'll be level on points with Rangers. I know it's early in the season, but we should expect it to be nip and tuck between the big two for the remainder of the season, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
And apologies for the frozen picture there.
Yeah, we could still hear him.
We could still hear his words.
Thanks,
Thank
Laura.
you.
Colourful words.